Welcome to this channel. The channel is for educations and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. So yesterday I shared a YouTube titled The Technical Truth of Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao. And after that, I got many comments and messages from our Wing Chun friends, especially those who think they practice internal art. And after I read all of those comments and messages, I pick an example which I'm going to reply on or respond on. And I'm going to once for all nail all those woo-woo or snake oil internal Wing Chun. Or in other words, we can put it as expose the fake internal Wing Chun or fake internal Xiu Lim Tao. This is a disaster. Reading those comments, it just make me really sad. Like, what have Wing Chun become today? So let's start. And remember, after this video, you know what not to touch. You know exactly what is real internal Qi Gong or Nei Gong, and not those snake oil selling and all those nonsense, okay? Anybody who want to do those snake oil, please do not call it Wing Chun, because Wing Chun is not that. Now, let's go into it. So, this is an example of the message. It said, also what you say about current working knowledge of sports science and the mechanics in ancient texts being the same is simply not true. Even when people talking about power from ground, what they mean is very different. Evidently, power from the ground in boxing and Tai Chi are two completely different things. Specifically on the topic of Wing Chun, there are people who practice the form Xiu Lim Tao with very similar mechanics that I mentioned in the first comment. It is different than, you know, again, this is XYZ lineage. I take away the lineage because I am go for technical, not lineage talk or not putting down anybody, but technical, okay? But not being apart from, I have state internal art as in general. So this is another YouTube. This person sent me about his internal stuff. And here I do understand the breathing and sinking pressure in the stomach. In fact, the Nei Gong that I practice, Taoism Nei Gong, is aligned with the practice of, again, here is XYZ Xiu Lim Tao, okay, a certain person Xiu Lim Tao, using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sing it to Dantian, not physically forcing it. You just don't understand everything else I have mentioned, okay? So this is one. We want to use it as an example. As always, I always reply to this kind of stuff is, I present Wing Chun history and scientific evidence. You talk lineage, because this person is talking lineage, dropping name of this grandmaster, his grandmaster, okay? Doesn't mean that I agree that person is a grandmaster, okay? His grandmaster, and about him, you see that I do understand this, I practice this, okay? But over here, as what I say, I present Wing Chun history and scientific evidence, yet you talk lineage, you are completely living in a different world, okay? So true or not needs historical and scientific evidence to back you up. There's no room for baseless speculation in this channel. Dropping name never replaced the truth in Chinese history and sports science by evidence. Big deal, you can drop anybody, your Sifu or any grandmaster, but they are no God, okay? It's law of physics govern, not those who you are belongs to or any lineage. People need to have a clear mind, okay? And I am here not interested to step on anybody or completely blown the entire thing. I'm here presenters try to help everybody out of this nonsense mess for past 60 years in Wing Chun. So again, I said, please comprehend and understand what I present in this video before comment, or please live if you like to live in your world. People who reply never comprehend what I'm presenting and have all his like this type of he says, this grandmaster, that grandmaster, he is the, so he's using a blanket statement and him and dropping names to be the truth. I'm not interested on that, okay? I'll share with you why. And there's another message which is saying that today's mess comes from misunderstanding and wrong interpretation of the art. Sorry to say, but it is coming from Chinese culture and blind copycat by people from West. Once the wheel starts spin, it is already done. Only few will know what is truth and what is fake. You have to collect all data and history detail to write new book about it with clear illustration to show them what is what to be called Wing Chun, Wang Chun. Okay. Let me explain or let me respond to this first. The first, please do not use a blanket statement, say, coming from Chinese culture. How much Chinese culture do you know? Even in today's Chinese, I question them, how much Chinese culture do you know? Okay, so don't use a blanket statement here. And over here, you have to collect all data and history detail. I don't have to collect. I already present in this channel in my books. I'm going to share with you, okay? I am not here to make money, but I want everybody out of this nonsense mess. And also here, Wing Chun got nothing to do with Wang Chun from Shaolin. Stop those relationship or correlationship, okay? So let's get into, let me answer this first, okay? One by one, let me share with you. So here on, Wing Chuners, if you have heart, you really want to develop something you can stand tall, even in front of Xi Xiaodong, you know these informations, okay? Why do you want to waste your life? If you love Wing Chun, you love yourself, then you know what is the truth. And go in the path of the truth. Value your life. No point to wasting your life with all those nonsense woo-woo stuff, okay? Now, on Chinese culture, as in every culture, there is good people and there's bad people. And there are good people who want to help everybody, and there are bad people only for themselves, okay? So one needs to know what is what. Like for example, this is Tang Hao. This is Tang Hao. At 1930s, he's already pointed out. Many people is using this Neijia or what Wudang or all those kind of stuff, all kinds of magic to screw the Chinese culture or Chinese martial arts and so forth. Over here, Ma Li Tang, who is an internal art practitioner, real internal art, okay, who is the student of the bodyguard of President Sun Yat-sen, the father of modern China, and study with like Sun Lutang, Zhang Yinxiang, all kinds of top grade internal people. He say here, you need to expose the magic martial art. Another word in today's word, like Xi Xiaodong, you're going to expose the fake Chinese martial arts, okay? And also drop those movie act or acting, opera acting or stage acting. Martial art has to be able to strengthen one's body and be able to fight. This is 1930. Okay, so this is Chinese culture. So let's not get into the blanket statement of Chinese culture and it just saying nothing. It's just a blanket statement. Now, as for Wing Chun, in my video in my YouTube, it's very clearly to show the identity, the root of Wing Chun, the salutations, and the uniqueness, okay? It is in the United States now, clearly every details in history and the techniques. It's a short strike art with a uniqueness, got nothing to do with Shaolin Wing Chun, okay? So keep that clear. Don't mess up Wing Chun. Wing Chun don't need those things, okay? One need to talk by evidence in very specific technically. Now I'll get back to this again. Let's look into it clearly, okay? And with this, I want to share with you what is the truth. Here he said, what you say about current working knowledge of sports science and mechanics in ancient texts being the same is simply not true. This is what he said, simply not true. Even when people are talking about power from ground, what they mean is different. Evidently, power from ground in boxing and Tai Chi are two complete different things. Well, this is his opinion. Does he have any evidence, show any evidence at all? No, zero. It's just opinion. Play expert opinion. Let's look at what is the truth. Now, in past 100 something years, in Chinese Kung Fu or in Wing Chun, there are all kinds of selling labels, selling magic, selling snake oil, selling names, which grandmaster name, selling style, selling lineage, selling sound deep Chinese term, selling what they don't know. They will sell everything. However, they are clueless on Gong Fa. Gong Fa is detailed training process to develop the skill. The ancient Chinese have that. Wing Chun have that, okay? Those who never have this Gong Fa keep going out there and selling nonsense. And also in Chinese Kung Fu, there's Xiu Zhen, development and verifications. You have the detailed training process, you develop your skill, and then you verify it. Now, let's look at this thing. If you are a real internal art guy, real internal Wing Chun or internal Kung Fu guy, let's look at two video clips and tell me what the hell go wrong there. Okay, this is Tai Chi versus Xi Xiaodong. This is The same Xi Xiaodong with the Wing Chun's Li Gang, who's supposed to know internal art, pressure point, and all those things. Okay. There's two videos. If you are really internal art martial artist, tell me what is wrong there. They have the same mistake for both the Tai Chi Lei Lei, who claim, who show off his internal art, internal chi, and all those nonsense, and also the Li Gang showing his pressure point and all those things. They all both make a very basic mistake. If you are internal art guy, you just spotted it, you know what the heck exactly is going on. You know they both have no internal art. It's just bullshit. Sorry for my language, but it is just bullshit. Selling bullshit internal. So let me bring it to you. So at the end of this video, everybody, every Wing Chuner will now know what is going on. If you don't know this, forget about facing Xi Xiaodong. Xi Xiaodong is not even Mike Tyson yet. Okay? Now, let's get into this, because he's saying that what you say about current working knowledge, sports science, and mechanics in ancient texts being the same is simply not true. Even when people talking about power from ground, what they mean is very different. Evidently, power from ground in boxing and Tai Chi are complete different things. Okay, and all this Wing Chun, so forth stuff. Let's look at Wing Chun. Okay, let's look at Wing Chun. Anybody in this world, like it or not, no one can deny the historic evidence link from General Qi Ji Guang to Shaolin to Wing Chun 1850. This video of mine show what it is. How is it linked? This book, Qi Ji Guang book, and this 1850s Wing Chun and Shaolin Short Strike book show by details why they are the truth. Nobody can deny that, okay? By truth. So you know that Wing Chun is from Shaolin. Now, in the Wing Chun inception, so this is the classical of 1850s Wing Chun. And all this writing from there, you can see is that is the momentum force, physical body breathing, and chi synchronization is like that. Action force, reaction force, the chi and mass like that. Okay? So that is how power from ground is. Power from ground. Okay? By the ancient classic, not by you say, I say, he says, she says. Okay? It is as it is that way. Now, are you going to tell me this, the Jack Dempsey's body weight and explosion, the falling step, is in a different world where there's action and reaction force, the mass. This is the mass, body mass. And this is a V mass. This is the momentum. This is the falling step. Okay, of course you have the mass. Are you going to tell me that the ancient Wing Chun 1850, the Shaolin short strike, the general Qi Ji Guang 460 years ago is different than the Jeb Ramsey's falling step. What do you say about current working knowledge of sports science and mechanics in ancient texts being the same is simply not true? I show you evidence in details, okay? So stop to saying this kind of nonsense if you don't even know what is you are talking about based on history, evidence, based on science. If you don't know how power comes up from the ground, that's your problem, okay? Don't get Wing Chun inside there. You don't know that's your problem. And also don't have this superiority complex like you have chi or anything. Like, well, Western boxing have the same thing. Because human is human, okay? So now you can see making this type of statement without knowing what is going on is problem. As for boxing and Tai Chi, well, I'm not a Tai Chi guy. You get the Tai Chi guy to tell you, okay? I'm a Wing Chun guy, okay? I'm a Kyokushin guy. And sorry, Wing Chun and boxing and Kyokushin all live in this world. We based on law of physics, okay? So by evidence like that, nobody flies, okay? Now, let's look into this. And I'm going to continue on this to show you about science, even now deeper. I do understand that breathing and sinking pressure in the stomach. I do understand. So he make his claim that he understand. In fact, the Neigong he practiced, Taoist Neigong is aligned with the practice of this whatever, you know, again, mentioned lineage Xiu Lim Tao or this person Xiu Lim Tao, using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sink into Dantian, not physical forcing it. That's what he said, okay? So he said, you just don't understand everything else I have mentioned. Number one, can you get your mind straight? What is Xiu Lim Tao? Which is based on Shaolin short strike. Got to do with your Taoist Neigong. Can you get your mind straight when you want to talk about this kind of thing? Do you know what it is before you talk? As for this, I do understand the breathing, sinking pressure in stomach. Today, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you so that once for all, Wing Chuners, you guys know what is the truth. Don't get into all this nonsense, okay? I call it nonsense now. I'm going to back it up with you with ancient writing and ancient and modern science. We know this. The Wing Chun 1850 is based on Shaolin short strike, this document. Okay? So Wing Chun 1850 is the offspring of Shaolin short strike. Let's look into Shaolin. So over here, this is from a book of analyze the Ming and Qing dynasty in martial arts classic. And over here, it is talking about the using of the strength and the transportations of breathing. Yun qi. Okay, transportation of breathing. So he have all this here on transportation, lower abs, and so forth. And so this is the Shaolin Short Strike Classic, which is this classic. Okay, the same classic. So in that classic, the expert investigate on it and then publish it. You know, it have the use of strengths and the transportations of breathing, which is they come together. So this is the really in-depth. Is talking about if your breathing is not at the lower abs, but on the top, you will not have the solid strength, and your footwork and so forth, you couldn't even have a solid of those. And then this one is from the same book. This is exactly what it is, talking about breathing. It said that you need to continue putting your breathing on your lower abs. When you fight, you never want to put your breathing on your chest. And here he said that if you're keeping training, then your body will be as strong as an iron tire. The tire is like the tire, the wheel of the car. Okay? Now, that is what from the Ming and Qing dynasty, which is from 460 years ago in the Qi Guang to the Ming dynasty, 250 years ago until at that time. Okay, so it's 100 years ago. Now, in Shaolin. So it's further, you know, you have those, the classic here. You have the classic here. And you're going down in the Shaolin, in the detail, it say that if you practice martial art, you don't develop your chi, you don't know how to develop your chi, it's useless, okay? And here it talk about how the chi, the inhale, exhale, you have different pathway. Okay, so just make it simple. If you know Chinese, you know what it is. And then here you say that internally you need to be able to handle the chi, and externally you need to be able to follow the chi. Okay, he said when you're striking, your breathing has to be rushing. Okay. So from the classic of Ming and Qing dynasty, you go one down level, you have all these details. And it's about breathing, how to use the breathing and so forth, right? How to. Now let's get, like here, you say that transportation of qi. And so right now, look into Shaolin, the real Shaolin, not today's Shaolin, the ancient Shaolin. What do they have? Even just breathing, the qi, it has natural qi of type of breathing. It has training or development qi type of training. And it has transportation of qi. So you have to go through the nurture and then the development to transport the qi. And here is how you can, like for example here, how to take impact. You need to think, to visualize your body is like a stone. And then while you exhale, you slam in. you can take the impact. So this is the training, but you need to have the nurture chi, development of chi, and the transportation of chi. So you need nurture, development, and transport. Sorry, it's never is I understand the breathing and sinking pressure in stomach. In fact, Nei Gong I practice, Taoist Nei Gong is aligned with the practice of XYZ Xiu Lim Tao, using calm mind to stabilize the breathing and sink it to Tan Tian, not physically forcing it. Are you kidding? The entire, at least since the end of 1600 on the Shaolin, this is all so many things you need to develop in order to use the strength. Now, you might say, well, Hendrik, this is just the theory. Now let's get into the real deal. Using history data on, let the history explain to you what it is. So 1928, the burning of Shaolin. Shaolin was burned, destroyed, a big part, 1928. Not your story or the whatever Zhan Sanfeng story or whatever burning of Shaolin. Shaolin was burned 1928, destroyed big part. Okay, and at that time there is a person, this Jing En-zhong, or his name like Jing Jin-zhong. He went study with the Shaolin, the abbot of Shaolin, Miao Xing Da Si, Shaolin monk. He studied that breathing, the internal, the Nei Gong, the Qi Gong stuff. In today's words, Qi Gong, Nei Gong stuff. And this Jin Jin-zhong, he is in the army. So all his army where he worked with and what he's doing. So this is a legit guy. Hey, like a General Qi Ji Guang, okay? You can trace in the history who the hell he is and what he's doing. He wrote this book to show you, remember? The nurture chi, the development of chi, the transportation of chi. This is the nurture of chi. He write all the thing there. This is with the posture. Okay, how he is nurture chi, quiet down, so forth. This is how he trained so his body can take impact. Okay. So again, it is not as what you think. Oh, this is a Taoist like understanding breathing and sinking pressure in stomach. It's not that. Sorry, there is tons of stuff there. And when people tell me this kind of thing, you know right away, they have no clue on what is what. Okay, and he said that it's not physical, forcing it and so forth. Well, let's look into what is exactly happened. So the first thing, in this of the nurture type, guess what he is doing here. Well, what he did here is, as in Anapanasati, Shaolin is a Buddhist temple. So here it is counting breath. Counting breath. Okay? Breath, counting breath. Okay? This is what he written. That's Anapanasati stuff. Again, stop giving me those nonsense BS Taoist Neigong stuff, okay? You want to talk Wing Chun, you want to talk Shaolin, you need to know what you're talking, okay? So we know that there's Anapanasati stuff. And now we got a problem. What is the breath? Now there's a definition on the breath. This is in Xiao Zi Guan, 1,500-year-old scripture teaching of the meditations and the breathing. Over here, there are 3 types. Okay, and this one I put in my books already in the basic Wing Chun Queen Art and Science. There is breathing with sound, panting state, short, shallow chest breathing, full body breathing. Okay, and over here it said here, if you cannot get into the state of like the full body breathing, what you need to do, you need to loosen up your thinking, relax your body, and then you have to visualize or contemplate your entire body. Your breathing is all over it. That's what you need to do, okay? So it is not by default that, hey, you know, using calm mind to stabilize the breathing and sing it to Dantian. This is nonsense, okay? The real thing is you need to know which states of your breathing is, what is the breathing. And then you need to know if you are getting the panting or certain thing, how to deal with it. How to deal so that your entire body breathing is not you sing your qi to Dantian like this thing. Okay? Using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sing it to Dantian, this is nonsense, okay? It is the entire body breathing. Okay, you want to talk real? Talk real. Like in the Anapanasati's teaching, you're aware of your breath, which is defined here, is the entire body is breathing, not panting, not breathing with sound. You're aware of your inhale, exhale, the length of inhale, exhale, and you're aware of the entire body is breathing all over it. You want to practice this state? This state? You need to be able to handle that, okay? The second state. Okay, so this state, do you really have the Kung Fu? For this process, I have made it in today's way into the N1 process. And guess what? This is the heart rate. You can check the heart rate. This is the respiratory, this is the breathing rate. You can check the breathing rate. Notice that this is the breathing rate of 5. You see how this thing gradually going down? You see how this is going down? When you get there. So this is at the beginning of the practice, and after 14 minutes, it gradually going down, going up, going down, going down, going down, and stay. Okay, around 7 or 8, the lowest it can go to 5. Okay, for this whoever following the process to practice. And you can see that the heart rate dropping from here, dropping. And the stress level start 27, it drop down to ending is 8. Okay? So, you want to talk Qi Gong? This is just the first state, nurture Qi. This is the first state. Also, what you say about current working knowledge of sports science and mechanics in Wing Chun text being the same is simply not true. Can you do it? This is now mapped into sports science. You cannot bullshit, okay? Your heart rate down, your breathing rate down, your stress rate or heart rate variability getting high, you can check that. Do you have the Kung Fu? Now, for this thing, the second, just now we are talking about this, like the Anapanasati. Now is the second. Oops. How do I turn it back? Shoot, how can I turn it back? 1 second. Okay. Over here, this is to quiet down the mind with the breathing. This is about the breathing and so forth. And guess what he said? In your heart, you recite the Buddha's name. So this is in my book, the same book, Basic Wing Chun Kuen Art and Science. The following the method of reciting Amitabha practices based, which is also known as Buddha recitation Samadhi practice. Sit comfortably, recite the Amitabha with one's heart, mind, and mouth. Okay, so this is how the way how to do it. Okay, sit comfortably with the ease of the physical body element in the loose state. You need to get the loose state for that first. So this is what it is for the quiet down the mind with the breathing using the Amitabha recitations of Amitabha Buddha. So that is the second one. The second one. All this is important. You need to be able to handle it. Now, what are you talking about is using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sing to Dantian. What are you talking about? Compare with the real world, real technology where one get into that. Get the mind to quiet, get the breath to quiet, the breathing to slow down on that. Now let's look at the third one. So this is the third one. The third one says once you have inhale, actually swallow breath, to be exact, swallow breath. So what is swallow breath? Swallow breath is inhale with mouth, okay? And then you use your left fist to strike your right rib area. And your rib area is pushing outward while you exhale. So this is about the transportations of the breathing. Now, as here it said that you need to have your breathing always in your lower abs, and you're keeping training that your body will be like iron tire. Well, this is exactly what the real training is. Shaolin teaching, and then it linked up to the ancient Shaolin writing. Okay. So what it is, for hundreds of years, the detail is there. Now, in today's language on this, you inhale big time, you press out your rib cage to take the heat while you exhale. What is that? Well, just read this. Abdominal bracing, okay? And here it says one way to start understanding it is to imagine the way you would brace your torso and core if someone were coming at you to hit you in that stomach. It is this thing, isn't it? And this thing is exactly to tell you how this iron tire was developed, isn't it? So is it any kinds of qi, jing, whatever you see in the movie, Taoist, or it doesn't matter, it is in the West, you practice Western boxing or is Shaolin, you are human. You work with the same human body, okay? It is no such thing like this. Using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sing it to Dantian, not physical forcing it, okay? And that is the Nei Gong he practiced, and a Taoist Nei Gong. What is? Now you see that? Now let's go one step further. Well, so why do you need that? Abdomen bracing, okay? So this is saying that one way to start understanding it is to imagine the way you would brace your torso and core if somebody were coming at you to hit you in stomach. And bracing, why do you need bracing? Properly braced spine and ability to maintain control of the whole thing during exercise is key. Is key to your ability to produce maximum force for whatever, okay? Go read it. So there's bracing. So over here, all this practice, you involve abdominal bracing in today's Western sports science terms, okay? And people saying that core stabilization, strengthen the muscle, and strengthen the muscle of the core, help you learn to use the inner muscle before you start to move. What is core stability and why is it important? The focus is on stability, breathing, and smooth coordinate movement. Focus on the core of the body as a way to promote strength and good health is an ancient idea, okay? So ancient. Hey, you know, don't keeping thinking that the Westerner don't know. Only you guys know, okay? And this is the intra-abdominal pressure stuff, scientifically. Now let's go further. Why is core important for martial art? Your stronger core will go a long way to boosting your overall athleticism. Most athletic movement that we perform in sport or in everyday life require the core. The strong core that martial art develop help you to be able to balance, push, lift, and all the stuff. Just look into this. Let's get screwed up. 1 second. So core is very important in martial arts. Okay, and does core strength affect punching power? Well, I say during our research, we found that lean muscle on the core has a large relationship with estimate punching force. More core muscle, especially related to body size, enable athletes to perform more better in our punch specific tests. Now, you want to talk Shaolin? That's why they have this thing. That's how they train the chi, the breathing. Okay? It is not, I do understand breathing and sinking pressure into stomach. In fact, Neigong I practice Taoism. Neigong is aligned with the practice of blah, 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 Xiu Lim Tao, using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sinking into Dantian, not physical, forcing it. Can one get real? Know exactly what it is going on before one talk? So the entire world knows this in science, okay? Now, again, he said that what you say about the current working knowledge of sports science and the mechanic in ancient texts being the same is simply not true. I just shared with you. You better do your homework when you talk to me, okay? You better know your stuff before you tell other people on this internal, the internal, drop name of this grandmaster, that grandmaster. So I just proved to you. The ancient Shaolin and today's sports science, they are in the same direction. And you can explain them what they are doing there. The West and the East, the science. And for those who study in this channel, know that you need to have N1. I always tell everybody, you need to have the N1 state and then the 2C state before you can train the intra-abdominal pressure. So like this, you need to have this nurture chi, development of chi state, your mind calm state before you get into this transportations of your breathing and your intra-abdominal pressure handling. That's why you need the N1 this. You don't want to damage your body. Okay, because in the real life, there's no such thing as this thing. Using calm mind to stabilize the breath and sink into Dantian and understand the breathing and sinking pressure in stomach. There's no such thing in real life. Okay. When you get the N1, your breathing is 360 degrees on your core. When you get the 2C, your breathing is 360 degrees on your core, okay? And this N1 process, as I mentioned here, the N1 process is actually following the teaching of the ancient, thousands of years, Buddhists. Now, today, sports science even go further than that. On this training, you see, they even go more details. That's the reason why I always tell people, you need to use today's sports science to examine your training. You want to get result, you use sports science in details to examine what you are doing. You don't want to get hurt, you use science, because in scientific way, you know what can screw you, what is helping you. And this is the Shaolin teaching from the Shaolin Short Strike. Today, we have this much details. That's why you can develop that stuff, you can control the entire outcome. You know you can get the result. And that's why the ancient Chinese say it is detailed training process to develop the skill, development, and verification. Now you have a science to help you. So you are like a tiger with a wing. Okay. So is the ancient and the modern sports science is one? Now, if you don't know this, if you have internal art and you don't know this, and you keeping claiming this type of stuff, I do understand the breathing and the sinking pressure in the stomach. In fact, Nei Gong, I practice Taoist Nei Gong aligned with Xiu Lim Tao and calm mind, stabilize the breath, sink to the Dantian, not physical, forcing it. You just don't understand everything else I mentioned. You know what is this? This is living in a fantasy land. While in the real world, you have Qigong, you have Nei Gong. Don't give me all this Taoist, whatever name. Do you have all these details? Do you have the handling of all these details? If you don't, that means you don't even know what is going on. What internal? What mind power? As in my video, today everything goes scientific. Okay, your muscular, your VO2 max, your breathing is in my YouTube. Western way of Kung Fu, Qigong, and Wing Chun. Sequence of breathing training. Remember we talked about the N1, 2C, you're aware of your breathing using the tools. You know how to breathe, the path, and so forth. You have respiratory muscle training, the vital lung capacity, you can track that. The expiratory pressure, you can track that. When you take a hit or when you want to charge in, you engage your core stability, your intra-abdominal pressure, you charge in. You need to know your maximum expiratory pressure. How much you can exhale out. How strong. Before you can do exertion. Okay? Now, you want to deal with intra-abdominal pressure? This is a real-time tracking. The OM track. So, isn't it all scientific? Isn't it the ancient Wing Chun ancestor, the Shaolin? If you bring them today, you put into the lab, you have all those measurements. They can do it. Okay? And actually, because they have developed it, they know what you're talking about. Now, go back to this. Why is this screw? Why is this? This is Xi Xiaodong trained in the modern way, train the core, train the breathing in the modern science way. This is the Tai Chi guy, internal, whatever magic. Why is like that? Why is that happen? Internal? Why is that happen? Well, because his core is screwed up. He doesn't even have the core. Look at it. Any core handling? Any core handling on your Daois and all whatever heck? The same with here. You want to fight Xi Xiaodong? You have the core to do the job. You want to claim that you have internal others, mind power, or all those spine power lifting annas? When are you going to awake? When are you going to awake? Then saying that, hey man, that is fantasy. All this grandmaster who preaching all this nonsense is screwing Wing Chuners left and right. That's why Xi Xiaodong said, you guys are fake Kung Fu. Will Xi Xiaodong be able to say that this is a fake Kung Fu? This is the Shaolin teaching and this is the sports science. Will he be able to say this is a fake internal, fake Kung Fu? Of course not. This is scientific proven. It's not about who is the #1 fighter. So I share with you all this. You have a choice. You want real Wing Chun, real internal, you know what the heck it is. The real Shaolin, you know what the heck it is. You want those Tai Chi stuff? Well, you end up with Lei get walked through by Xi Xiaodong. Is that internal or there's fantasy? Self-delusion. So I share this with you. I put it really straightforward today. I'm a straight shooter. I'm not a guy who like to play all this name game and everything. One need to know where one stands before one talk and stop all this nonsense internal stuff, internal this, internal that. One have no clue how the Shaolin teach 100 years ago, how the processes to develop that Qi, that internal, that Qi Gong, that Nei Gong. And how is that applied in martial arts? That's how serious it is. You cannot in one way smoking opium and then hallucinations, internal mind power, What mind power? Can you face Xi Xiaodong even for a few seconds? That's how bad it is today's in all this so-called internal Wing Chun stuff. So get real, okay? See, today I didn't mention any lineage, any name, because my notion is not to step on anybody. I do not feel good to bully people or step people or whatever, spoke bad about people. My notion is very simple. You have to face Xi Xiaodong. You better to get your whatever you study, know your art properly, or else it's called hopeless, okay? So this is what I like to share with you. Think about it. You don't have to trust me. Go look into it. I show you the evidence. I show you the scientific way. Go check it out. So this is what I like to share with you today.